right. Hey, welcome guys. My name is Mike Kerrigan, coming to you guys live here in Anchorage, Alaska at the Wealth Dynamics headquarters. We are here again for, it's at 7 p.m. here, Alaska time. We're about to start our staff training, okay? We'll be talking about how to manage money, so you guys will be a part of our training tonight. You know, like we said last week and before, the training ultimately is for us, right? Everything that we do is going to start with us to begin with. So we just would like to have you guys be a part of that. If you guys want to take out some notes, get some books out, rewatch this, replay. If you can't be a part of it, even if you're here for like 30 seconds, maybe a couple minutes, maybe at the very end, go back, rewatch it, share, subscribe it. All right, we're going to be talking about how to manage your money, okay? So what I'm going to talk about real quick is, what does manage actually even mean? There are many different definitions, but I'll pull it up here on the dictionary this is off Google, okay? So we're talking about how to manage and using the word as a verb, all right? So most people are gonna think about managing as be in charge of, whether it be a company established undertaking to administer or run, but in the way that we're using it tonight, this one's good. Administer and regulate. This means resources under one's control. That's pretty big. So we manage our cash extremely well was one of the definitions. So we're going to talk about how to manage money. We're going to talk about what you need to do, what things you need to know, and what you need to do to make sure that actually happens so you can get that taken care of. And so we're going to start off here with a little bit GC on, I forget the topic. What's the topic on here? I don't even know.
Where are you versus where you can be?
All right, yeah, so where are you versus where you can be. And this is how it's going to tie all back in, how you manage your money now to take you where you want to be. All right.
When you collect information from people, how many heard this statement before? Knowledge is power. Warren Buffett was on TV yesterday. He's 88 years old. He's worth $83 billion. Okay, I want to know where the guy is in his cycle. Everybody's got a life cycle. I'm young, I'm broke. I get a little bit of money, I'm middle class now, okay? Now I'm rich, now I'm super wealthy, okay? And now I'm gonna die. My data points will change. Everybody agree with that? Where are you getting the data from, okay? If this is probably where I'm at right now in a number of places in my life. Both my finances, my brand recognition, my international presence, my business expansion. I'm probably up on a upward slope. I might be down here and not even know it yet. Okay, because I might not know how high I could go. Probably this is a mistake. I didn't know how big I could get. So down here, what am I telling you right now? Get your money, save it. Like if you go back and read my books, when I was 30 years old, 35 years old, I'm talking about save your money, save all your money, save all your money. Why? I'm trying to put some money away. Then I get right here, I'm like, I need to get the money to work. Right? I get here and I'm like, I need to get the people around me making money. When I'm starting this cycle, so you need to understand, when you're listening to me today, leave here and you go to John Maxwell's workshop. Where is John in the cycle of his life? The source of data. Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs was down here, animal. He was an animal. Him and Bill Gates were like carnivorous. They weren't thinking about giving money away. They didn't have any money. They were in a garage, right? Scrapping out, man, buying tacos, probably stealing a little bit. Warren Buffett down here took 500 shares of Ford Motor Company stock for free to pitch it. To tell people I have 500 shares of the IPO. In 1957, Ford Motor Company went public. He got 500 shares from the company to say he was buying Ford Motor Company. He didn't buy Ford Motor Company. They gave him the shares. It's against the law. Okay, he's outside the statute of limitations. That's what he did then. That's not what he's doing now. Where are you getting data from? You follow me?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, right? So talking about tonight, we're going to talk about the data that you've been operating with, right? And we're going to present you with some new data that you can actually use to actually learn how to properly manage your money. There's so much information out there being thrown out to us every single day. I just learned, like it was a couple weeks ago, if you're on any social media or LinkedIn, which is the #1 social media network right now in the world, the average LinkedIn user only is logged in once a month, about 17 minutes. So for the whole month. So think about that. You're looking at information here, and there. What can you do? What information can you look at? What data do you need to take in? And how do you actually kind of discern and go through the data? Like, is this good for me? Is it logical? Does it make sense? Am I kind of being like attached to this decision, or am I actually looking at what's going to actually provide me with some very real results? So we're going to talk about that tonight. And hey, if you're interested in learning how to actually really disrupt the financial industry, which is what we're doing here at Wealth Dynamics, you'd like to be a part of our company, apply. We're going to be putting out that link as well. It's wealthdynamics.com/careers. Come work with us. Without further ado, Coach Jerry Fetta.
Awesome. Let's get a round of applause for Mike. Great intro. Thank you, Mike. All right, so guys, if you don't know me, you're tuning in live tonight. I think we got Facebook, Instagram, a few other sources up. I'm Jerry. I'm the owner of Wealth Dynamics, and we do this course every Friday night. Okay, every Friday night we train our staff. We share this with you guys for a couple good reasons too. Okay, so we want to obviously train our staff. We believe that we should have smart, intelligent people that are capable, they have aptitude. So we invest in them. Okay, and realize it's 7 p.m. on a Friday night. Mike, when's the last time you partied on a Friday night?
Probably a year and a half.
A year and a half. So for 18 months, Mike has been coming to our office to learn on a Friday night. That's awesome. That's why we invest in our people, okay? We also want to share this with you because there's a few things we want to do. We want to win your business. Okay, we want to give you enough information to where you know we can help you and you want to work with us. Okay, we want to earn your referrals, and we also want you to come work with us. Like Mike mentioned, we're hiring, we're expanding. We want you to join our team here in Anchorage, Alaska. So today we're going to be talking about one thing and one thing only: how to manage your finances. How to manage your finances. Now, I want to just go ahead and just step right back really quick to what Mike had said on manage. A lot of times when we hear that word manage, we think like almost like stagnant. Nana, what do you think of when you hear like manage, when you think of like a manager?
Got to make sure everything's running smoothly in place, and it's supposed to go where it needs to go, where it needs to go.
I think of a worry wart.
A worry?
A worry wart, like somebody that's always like worried and like, can't do it but wants to do it.
Yeah, well, I've been studying about management now, so.
Damn, that's the truth. Mike, what was your initial like thought on what management?
Kind of boring.
Boring?
Very like.
Find the shot with this board.
Yeah.
Just like management seemed like a lot of work. It's like,
Yeah.
I gotta manage this, I gotta manage that. It's like, it just seemed like a lot of, didn't seem very exciting.
Yeah. When I thought of management, I thought of when I was a kid, my parents were bad at finances. So every time like bills would come in, my dad's name was William, so his name was Bill. So my mom would give him the bills and be like, "It's your name," and then he would stress, and then like we would not have money. We had our car repoed, we had our house short sold. So like when I thought manage financing or finances, I thought of like negative, like a lot of effort and a lot of work and very emotional and like stressful. So what we want to talk about tonight is that's not what management means. Like Mike said, manage means to control, to regulate. Okay, when you think of being regulated, you are controlled to the nth degree. Every single little thing about you is controlled. Okay, when you think government regulation, there ain't nothing the government doesn't have their hands on. They control everything. They regulate everything. They regulate interest rates. They regulate financial markets. They regulate everything you do. Okay, so when you think management, I don't want you to think like, exhausting or boring or any of that stuff. I want you to think of having the most control possible on an item. Now tonight we're talking about finances, right? So when we're talking control on finances, still in the shot, okay? We're talking control on finances. That's the ability to start your finances, the ability to change your finances, and the ability to stop your finances. Okay, start, change, and stop. That's how you manage and control your finances. All right? So starting your finances, that would, in my opinion, like when I think start, I think income. Is that what you guys think?
Yep.
Okay. So starting is the first thing. You've got to have income. Okay? Then you have change. Okay, when I think change, I think about like moving accounts around. I think about, like changing expenses. What are some things you guys think about?
When it comes to finances?
Yeah, when you hear the word change and you think finances in relation to control.
Habits.
Habits, changing habits.
Transitions.
Transitions. Okay, what do you guys think of when you hear stop?
The money's not there no more.
Lost
There's
the
no
job.
growth.
Lost the job, money's not there,
There's
no growth. You can also stop an expense, cut its head off. That's stop now. So you have to have start, change, and stop, okay? Now, if you can only start things, you've got unfinished cycles of action. Okay, so a lot of people, they'll look at the income thing. How many people do we know that are always starting the next thing? The newest MLM, the newest opportunity, they never actually finish. And they're like, man, their strategy, if I can be the first 5 to join, I can be on ground level. Okay, that's starting, but it's no ability to change or stop. Okay, or you've got people that change. They're always transitioning. They're always moving around. They're always messing with it. Okay, so if you can change but you can't start or stop, that's not going to help you. And then we've got people that are just stop. Foot's always on the brake. Always trying to cut expenses. Always trying to keep the income, level. They're not trying to bring it up or down. They're trying to stop both of them. Don't want it to go down. Don't want it to go up. I want it to stay exactly the same. That's a constant stop. Okay? So when you hear control, I want you to hear the ability to start, change, and stop my money. At will. No considerations, right? Now, with that being said, in order to control your finances, you have to understand the philosophy of which you're trying to control it towards. This kind of goes back to what we talked about. You guys remember last week with the goal setting? Okay, all that stuff we covered, the only reason money is relevant is you need funding. Your goals and your purposes need funding. If you do not have funding, they cannot happen. So if you do not have money, the goal can't happen, the purpose can't happen, the plan can't happen. You have to have money. So the funding is what you're looking for. So when we're working with clients, we're teaching them how to get the funding. Here's how you get the funding. Here's how you increase your income. Here's how you save more. Here's how you invest, right? So if you understand, I'm just looking for funding. That really changes things. Yeah. If you think about it objectively, all I'm doing is looking for funding for my dreams to come true. Then the emotional attachment goes away. Okay, when the emotional attachment goes away, I don't care what it is. I don't care if I like it. I'm looking for funding. The stuff I like is the stuff I'm trying to do. I need funding to do that stuff. Like, think about it. If you're trying to achieve a goal and you fall in love with the process instead of the result, and you end up digging this, the work, and the grind, that's going to actually distract you from achieving the result. Because you enjoy this. If I enjoy this, why would I leave? So in reality, if I was trying to achieve this, I should make it to where I don't enjoy this.
Yeah. Kind of the cold call thing.
Yeah, like the cold call thing. I had it explained to me. Nano would appreciate this. Nano just got licensed, actually. Let's get a round of applause for Nano. That was a process.
I absolutely hated that process.
When I got licensed, one of my managers told me getting your life insurance license is a lot like swimming through a cesspool. You know what a cesspool is? Like sewage.
Sick.
Like a shit pool. He's like, it's a lot like swimming through a cesspool. And he's like, you have to go through and you have to get to the other side. And he's like, but sometimes people get to the middle and they start feeling tired and they decide they're going to kick back and take a nap. And then they wake up and they lost their keys. And then they have to swim around into the bottom of the cesspool to go find their keys. And then they decide they don't mind it so bad and they kind of like it there and it smells like waffles and they end up staying. And that's how he described the licensing process. He's like, it's a cesspool, just get to the other side. Don't hang out, don't check it out, don't look for things, don't enjoy it, don't smell anything, just go, get out. Like, go to the other side as fast as you can. So, like, when I passed my test, I think I got it was like a 97 or something stupid like that. And I was like, I got a 90. And, like, my manager literally was like, dude, I want to throw books at you right now. He's like, you only needed a 70. You only needed a 70. All you had to do is pass the test, which if you got a 90, you probably could have passed the test a month ago. And I was like, shoot, because I started falling in love with the process. I wanted to know how all this stuff worked and be able to tell people I had the highest score. And it's not even about that, it's about the result. Okay, how much of what I've taught you about life insurance is actually on the exam?
Repeat the question.
How much of what I've taught you about life insurance is actually on the study?
maybe
It's not
just
hard.
like the terminology, like, you know, we have this type of policy, but in depth, as far as what it does, mostly through you.
Yeah, like the basic terms, right? So you have to look at, like with this, most of the work isn't even going to make sense till you get to the result. You can learn all the terms, you can do all the stuff, but until you get to the result, you're not going to know why you needed to know any of that stuff. So if you fall in love with the process and you don't go to the result, you're never going to know why you're doing this stuff, and also you're not going to get to the result because you'll fall in love with this, right? So you've got to know what's the result. This has to be the thing that you're in love with, not this. You just need to know I have to have funding. Okay, if I didn't have to have funding, then I wouldn't do it. If I didn't need money for any of my goals, I would not go get money. There would be no point. Okay, and you have to change your mindset too. This, it's not like the dream. Like realize money is a restriction. The fact that you can't do stuff if you don't have money is slavery. So you have to stop thinking about, yeah, I want to get money. I want it. You don't want, like, that is an arbitrary equation. You do not want to get money. You want the result. Someone created money and it's in your way. So you can either lose, or you can fit in with everybody else, or you can just be like, dude, I'm going to go get all of it so that it can never be in my way again. I'll never be stopped by a green piece of paper, which is really just an idea that someone else had. I'll never be stopped by someone else's ideas. That's what money is. So when you have this mindset of like controlling finances, you have to realize you have to control your finances, because if you don't, your finances will control you forever. Okay, so we're flying above like the technical stuff real quick to get into the philosophy of it. Like, think about it. Could you go to Panama right now? First class ticket, book a 5-star hotel, and not worry at all?
No.
No, that's slavery. The fact that you can't do something. So you're not actually as free as you think. That's where it's got to really hit you. Like, dude, I am not actually free. Why? Because of money. Guys, they print the damn stuff like it's going out of style. Like, when you think about all the stuff you've learned about how money is created, how is it that that green piece of paper has control over you? Other than somebody decided it does, and you agreed to it. Okay, so you can disagree, right? So if you disagree, that's what this is going to look like. You can disagree. There's 2 ways to do this. It's binary. Number 1, I can opt out, aka poverty. That's a way to disagree, right? I can be like, hey, I'm not going to participate. I'll have some of the qualities, like I don't have to, worry about money because I don't do it, but there's still things I can't do.
My true riches are not here.
Yeah, my true riches aren't here. I'm already wealthy, bro. We've heard people say that. Then why are you walking? Why are you walking on the block right now? So you can opt out, or you can get wealth. Okay, getting wealth means you acquire so much of it that you don't think about it, you don't need it. That's why we tell people to treat money like oxygen. That's the option you got to look at. So this is all philosophy, right? If you understand the theory, all right, well, the goal is to get wealth so that I can have abundance, because money is something that does control me and I don't want it to, and I want to do things without being controlled and make decisions and go places and live life the way I want to live it. You have to go build wealth. And to build wealth means that you're going to acquire money, which means you've got to be able to control it. If you acquire it and can't control it, what's going to happen to you? You're going to lose it. Or you're going to get beat up by it. You guys both have dogs. What happened when you first got your dog and you didn't know how to control the dog?
Pooping all over the damn place.
Pooping all over the place, biting you, humping your leg, all of that stuff, right? Because you can't control the dog. If you can't control money, it's going to hump your leg. It's going to bite you. It's going to poop all over your life. Okay? So you have to be able to control money, all right? Now, this is where you then get into application. That's the philosophy, the theory. Then you have the application. You have the, what should we call this? The scarcity approach. And then you have the abundance approach. I don't even want to call it that. I want to call it the create approach. Okay, scarcity and create. Okay, scarcity is there isn't enough. Scarcity is live below your means. Scarcity is pinch pennies. And it's all based on the fact that there is not enough money. And because of that, you can't control your income. Therefore, you have to focus on controlling your expenses. It is expense focused. Okay, so it is focused on how do I cut that? It's the idea that I save money on coffee, and if I have enough left over and I invest it wisely, I can turn it into something, and hopefully someday I'll be wealthy, because there's just not enough money out there and it's so hard to get, and I can't get more of it, so I need to just not do what I want to do. So this is actually a form of succumbing. We go back to the theory. The first idea was, I don't like not being able to do stuff because of money. So how is the solution then to do less stuff? How does that make any sense? I don't like not being able to do stuff. To solve that problem, I'm going to do less stuff. And hopefully, it's like chemo. Like, I'm about to die. Let me give myself poison. Hopefully I'll live. It doesn't make any sense. Okay? So that's basically the scarcity approach. The create approach. This is a responsibility. It's focused on value. It's focused on exchange. It's focused on production. And it's focused on opportunity. Okay, I want you to think of two different people. I want you to think of somebody that lives this way. Okay, you guys got someone?
Yep.
Now I want you to think of somebody that lives this way. You guys got someone?
Mm-hmm.
Who would you rather hang out with?
Create.
Who would you rather have influence your kids?
Create.
Who would you rather retire with?
Create.
Who would you rather work with?
Create.
Okay, who would you rather be?
Create.
Okay, so you have to look at the characteristics too, right? So responsibility, value, exchange, production, opportunity. There isn't enough. Live below your means. Pinch the pennies. Cut your expenses. Okay, guys, you have to look at like what is leading up to the end result. This is not wealth. Subproducts, right? If the subproducts aren't wealth, how are they going to lead to a product that is wealth? They can't. So in order to build wealth, my subproducts have to also be related. All of the ingredients have to be related. If I start throwing in the wrong ingredients, I'm going to create the wrong thing. No matter what I try and call it and label it, right? So what that means is once I have the philosophy down and I've picked the right approach, then I can start getting into, all right, how do I actually manage my finances? Okay? And this goes into what we teach. The first thing you've got to do, you have to have knowledge on finances. Okay? Now, again, knowledge is a having thing. It's not a doing thing. It's not a being thing. I have knowledge. So a product could be knowledge because I can have it, right? The way that I get knowledge is I do things that give me knowledge. So a lot of times people think knowledge because they did, but they don't actually have the knowledge because they didn't get the product. They didn't get the exchange. They just did the action. They watched the video, they read the book, but they didn't actually get the knowledge. Okay, like knowledge is yours, it's intrinsic, which means you don't need anybody else to have it. So if you need a coach, you don't have knowledge in the area. If you need a book, you don't have knowledge in the area. If you need a reference, you don't have knowledge in the area. Knowledge is in here. So if you have knowledge, it's inside you. You don't need it from someone else. Okay? So you've got to focus on how do I get to the point where everything I need to know about money I have. It's in me. Okay? So that's really like you've got to kind of paint an ideal scene of that. You got to think of like, all right, if I were to sit down with Warren Buffett and ask him anything about money, he could probably tell it to me without having to look. I need to get to that level. Like, I just need to be that knowledgeable on money. Now, the only way that I get that knowledgeable on money is I do things that get me knowledgeable on money. This is part of controlling your finances. So what are some things you could do to get knowledgeable on money? Study. What else? What are some other ones?
Model the habits of wealthy people.
Model the habits of wealthy people. Okay. What are some other ones?
Study how money actually works.
Study how it works?
Yeah, go back to studying.
Yeah, kind of the history, where it came from, how it adapted.
Yeah, as far as the understanding inflation, banking system, the role that it plays. I mean, once you understand how inflation works and how much money you actually need,
Yeah.
it's eye-opening, if not scary.
Yeah, and those are all things you want to do. You can study, you can learn, but the biggest thing you want to do, handle money. Interact with money. How many times do you know of that either you or somebody else avoided looking at their bank statement?
Yep.
They avoided doing a budget. They avoided going through their transactions. They avoided looking at, a financial statement that when you looked at it, it's like hard to confront, and then they didn't. They avoided looking at it. So the best way to do this and get better with money is to interact with money. Count money, touch money, hold money, read balance sheets, read cash flow statements, look at reports, read books, all that stuff, right? So when I started trying to get better at money, I did the do stuff, right? Which was reading, but the thing that got me really, really good at money, it was the wealth creation formula. Sitting down with somebody and showing them their money and having to count their money and having to go through their balance sheet and figure out what their credit card statement said and figure out how to read their pay stub. That's where I got my knowledge on money. Now we're in the fortunate position that that's every single day here. Most of you guys aren't in that position. You're not professionally helping other people with money. What that means is you need to go look for opportunities to do that. Now guess what? You have a balance sheet. You have a credit card statement. You have a pay stub. When is the last time you read that stuff? For most people, it's never. They don't look at that. So if you look at, all right, I need to do prime opportunity. Help more people with wealth creation formulas, you gain more knowledge on money. The neat thing is we have a system that's based on the right information. So you can actually plug into a track and go the right way immediately without getting stuck. Right? So you have to have knowledge. Knowledge comes from doing. And then finally, you get to the part where we focus on income. Okay? So income. Most of us that are either watching or here tonight, we have some sort of base income. Okay, whether that is an hourly wage that you earn, whether that's a salary, whether that's residuals you're making off of stuff you've closed before, you have a baseline income. Okay? So in order to increase the income, you will have to sell. Okay? So let's establish this now. If you don't understand sales, you will not be wealthy. Don't care who you are. There's no exception to that rule. You have to be a master salesperson. So you have to sell. And that means that you need to start looking at what can I sell. All right? Now, a lot of times people start getting stressed out. Nanos coach people through, how many people, when they learn, I got to sell, they're like, can you tell me what to sell? Can you pick the product for me, Nano? And really, that's not even where they need to be at yet. Sell the chair. If you don't need the chair, get rid of the chair. How much crap do you own, right, that you don't need? So this is something that every single one of us should do often. The 1 to 5 game on your possessions. Okay, 1 to 5 game on your possessions. You literally go through your house with a clipboard and a piece of paper. Everything you see, you write a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, or a 5 next to it. Okay, your clothes, your closet, your shoe rack, all of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? And if it's a 1, what does a 1 mean, Mike?
Dumb idea.
Dumb idea. A 1 means it was dumb. Unintelligent. There is no logical reason you need it. It does not help you. It was a bad idea. We've all done dumb things and bought dumb things. What's a dumb thing, Mike, that you bought before?
My TV.
Your TV? Nano, what's a dumb thing you bought before?
A $4,000 bike.
A $4,000 bike? Lexi, what's a dumb thing you bought before?
Probably my VW.
VW. When I was in 10th grade, I wanted to get really good at basketball. So I bought a brace that you put around your arm that keeps your arm stuck in the shooting form. That was a dumb idea, okay? That was a dumb thing. So if it's dumb, what do you do with it, Nano?
Sell it.
You return it. You get rid of it. You sell it. You get rid of it. If you own it, you're going to sell it. I don't care where you have to sell it. Sell it on Craigslist. Sell it on eBay. Sell it to a friend. Sell it to the thrift store. Sell it to the pawn shop. If you want the money, you will sell the thing. Okay, and this comes back to product attainment. If you want to attain the product, you don't come back with reasons. You don't come back with excuses, and you don't come back with stories. Ultimately, if you are sitting here and you're like, yeah, I hate being controlled by money. I want to build wealth. I'm going to do the abundance thing. I have the knowledge. Go sell the stupid stuff. If you come back with a story about how the thrift store wouldn't give you the right price, dude, it doesn't matter. You're trying to get rid of the thing. Sell it. There's no reason to keep it, okay? So you get rid of it. You sell the item. I wrote return here. Okay, you sell the item. Unemotional. Doesn't matter how long you had it for. Doesn't matter who gave it to you. It doesn't matter which birthday it was. None of that matters. It matters that you are controlled by a piece of paper. Are you really going to let your love for the thing get in the way of you not being controlled by the piece of paper? And it's not even about how much you make. It's about you doing the activity. You got to start somewhere. You have to learn how to sell. And if you can't learn how to sell something that you already bought, which means at some point you agreed it was valuable, so there should be no ethics issue like, oh, I can't push that on someone. You freaking bought it. You bought it. If you bought it, you should be willing to sell it to someone else because you thought it was a good idea at one point. Sell the item. Okay? Now, the second thing is a 2. So if it's a 2, what does a 2 mean, guys?
Not really. You didn't really need it.
Mike looks super Italian right there.
It's like
It's a not now.
it's a not now. Like you could get it later.
Okay, so I don't need this right now. Okay? This is the toughest one because you have to actually be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
I don't need this right now. Okay, I don't need this car right now. I don't need this apartment right now. I don't need these clothes right now. I don't need this dog right now. Whatever the thing would be, I don't need it right now. I could get it later. There will be another one. There's another opportunity. This one's not going to help me. I don't need it right now. I would say most of the things people own fall into this category. I don't need it right now. If you felt urgency when you bought it, it automatically is going to be in that category. If you felt like you needed it, that automatically means you probably didn't actually need it. The stuff you needed, think about this, guys. The stuff you needed, there was no emotion there. Like, I needed some milk. You were like, I gotta get to the store, get the milk because I'm excited and it's brand new. Like, none of that fell into the equation. It was just like, I need this, I'm gonna get it. I need this, I'm gonna get it. Every single time you were emotional and excited, you did not need it.
Yep. Good example. When Nana was selling me some Herbalife stuff, I was like, I wasn't like, oh man, I really like want to buy this right now. It took me a while to buy it, but I needed it because it was good for my body.
Yeah.
It took me forever to get to it, but like, oh, okay.
You weren't like banging the door down for it.
Nope.
It's like, all right, I'll take my vitamins.
Yeah,
I need it.
I'll take it. Yeah.
Okay. So if you don't need it right now, you also sell it. Like, think about how literal this is. You go through your house with a piece of paper. If I looked at it, I write down what it was and I put a number next to it and I do whatever action is associated with the number. Don't consider it. Don't think about it. Okay? If it's the TV, TV's gone. $2,000, boom, in my pocket. Right? So that's number 2. Number 3 is a maybe. Maybe means that you are having an issue deciding whether you keep it or whether you sell it. Okay, maybe is a safe zone to put the transaction temporarily until you're done with the list. Then you'll come back to the maybe and make a decision when you can be a big boy about it. Okay, so maybe you're going to come back to it, make a decision. And the reason why, if your happy little morons kicking in on the transaction, you're like, I don't know if I should keep it, and you're starting to be insane. Wait till you're not insane and then make the decision. Don't make a decision when you're being insane. Wait till you're sane and then be like, all right, yeah, that was a 2. That's the same way arguments happen, right? Can we all agree arguments are insane?
Yep.
And then afterward, you're like, yeah, they were right. Okay, so that's the 3. A 4?
Survival.
Survival, okay? I asked someone today what survival meant, and he said food and water. Okay, survival. Survival doesn't just mean food and water. Nano, what does survival mean?
Anything that's going to help me with my well-being and things that I need to produce.
Yeah, anything that's going to help you with your well-being and help you produce. Okay, and I want you to think about things that give you energy and things that give you time. If it gives you energy and it gives you time, that's a 4. Okay, bed, give you energy? Yeah, food, give you energy?
Yep.
Yeah, clothes, give you energy?
Nope.
Nope, but they gives you time because you don't go to prison for being naked in the street. Vehicle, give you energy? Nope, but it gives you time because you can go somewhere faster. So you have to think about 4s.
Gym.
The gym gives you energy, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the dumbest one, guys. You broke people, like the ones that are cutting your expenses. Why is the first thing you cut your food bill and your gym? You eat the crappiest food and then stop working out because you don't have money. That is dumb. Realize you'll solve the problem of the money and then you're going to have a health problem because you sacrificed your body for a piece of paper. Very fine line between that and prostitution. Think about it. Mike got it. Okay, but basically the 4s you don't sell. You keep the 4. Okay, and this is where we're different on financial management than like a Dave Ramsey. Dave's like, sell your kids, sell your toys, eat beans and rice. Okay, I can't do 16 hours of work with beans and rice. I'm going to be exhausted and malnourished. I won't have energy. And pissed off, okay? When I work, I want to dress nice. I feel better when I dress nice. I'm going to spend a little more money on my clothes because it increases my production.
I felt good, so they just got a haircut.
Nano got a haircut, closed the deal today. Nano spent $25 on his haircut. He could have gone to Great Clips and got it for 10. He overspent on his haircut. He feels good about it. He closes the deal. That's how it works, okay? Money is a direct reflection on your feeling. If you feel good, you're going to produce. Now, I'm not saying don't produce because you don't feel good. Like, you go produce anyways. But the better you feel, typically, the better you're going to go produce, right? Now, the last category is a 5. 5 is either income producing or tax reducing. That rhymes. Income producing or tax reducing. All right? So, if it's a 5, it means you own it and it produces income, or it reduces your tax burden. You never sell a 5. Okay, if I find out you sold a 5, we will not be friends. We will not hang out. You will not come to my birthday party next month. You will not be allowed in my office. Okay, you do not sell a 5. It produces income. If you sell a 5, you are violating the number 1 rule of income, which is never get rid of a known source of income for a hoped-for source of income. Okay, if you knew you had income, you should not get rid of the asset. You keep it. Even if you don't like it, even if it's not sexy, you keep it. Okay? So that's your 1 to 5 scale on things you own. Okay, right there, like most people here, I had a guy 2 years ago do this. In a weekend, he made $6,000. Over a 3-day period, he made $6,000. If you're an Alaskan watching this, if you just sold your snow machines and your 4-wheelers, Mike, how much would they make?
30 grand lease.
But Mike, I have to have fun in the wintertime. You like toys. Is that or slavery? Snow machine or financial slavery. You can go rent the snow machine. There are places that will rent you your snow machine. My client Jeff will rent one to you. I'll tell you his name and his phone number. He'll call you, $300, use it for the day and give it back. If it doesn't produce income, you don't need it. So you get rid of that stuff, right? So that's the first exercise. And if everyone did this, Nano, you recently did this with some stuff. What did you end up pocketing after you got rid of like some of your stuff in Dallas?
I don't even know. I mean, it's
a couple $1,000, right?
I mean, van 7,500. Yeah, like a little over 10 G's.
Yeah. So Nano did this. This is like 3 months ago, 4 months ago.
I mean, just started the process whenever I moved here.
When you moved up.
And then started selling like my DJ gear. Got like 1,500 for it. Van 7,500 and yeah, close to 10 G.
Yeah, so Nano made 10 grand doing just what we talked about.
And I just thought of that right now.
That's pretty dope. So 10 grand. Now the other one you're going to do is you're going to handle your expenses. Okay, you're going to do the same game on your expenses, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, you bought something and it was a dumb idea and it's within the 30 days and you're going to return it. Okay? Who's seen Forrest Gump? Stupid is as stupid does. You will feel stupid when you go into the line to return the thing and they're like, what's wrong with it? And you're like, nothing, I just overspent. You will never want to do that again. Okay? You will, it's because it's dumb. You did something dumb, now you're going to feel dumb about it. But it's going to teach you not to do that anymore. Okay, now if you're a client of ours, if you return this, it goes into your sacred account. Okay, so you're going to return the dumb idea expense, but you don't get to keep the dumb idea expense. You already told the money you didn't want it. That's why you spent it. You got rid of it. You didn't want it. You didn't love it. So when you get it back, you still don't get it. Your sacred account does. Because your sacred account loves the money. Your sacred account will take care of the money. You just proved that you won't. So don't trust yourself with it. Get rid of it. Put it in the sacred account. Okay? Now, if it's a 2 is an expense that is a not now expense. Okay, you're catching it in that 30-day period. You're also going to return it, and the money's also going to go in your sacred account. Okay, so if you don't need it right now, and you spent it within the last 30 days, and if you do this right, you should check every 7 days. Every week you check. A 3 is a maybe. Again, a maybe means that at the end of the exercise, you're going to come back to it and decide, am I going to keep this thing or return it? Okay, a 4 again is needed for survival. Okay, and then a 5 is something that produces income. Okay, so you always keep your income expenses and you also always keep your tax deductible expenses. Income or taxes. All right, so what this means, this entails you have a budget. This entails you track your expenses. This entails that you look at your bank account. Okay, if not, you will lose money here, guys. Okay, so this is something you can do in probably 30 minutes a week. When Lexi and I were broke, you remember sitting down on Sundays and looking at the spreadsheet? Mm-hmm. And we would do the 1 to 5 game. We would return stuff. We still do that. We still sit down and go through our expenses, and if it's a 1 or a 2 or a 3, we get rid of it. If it's a 4 and a 5, we keep it, right? Now, eventually, and this is the difference between us and scarcity mindset, right? You're not getting rid of stuff because you can't afford them. You're getting rid of stuff because it's not productive. It's not that I can't afford it. It's that that thing is not worth my money. That thing won't produce income. That thing won't give me energy. That thing won't give me time. That thing won't reduce my taxes. Therefore, I don't need to buy it. That's the mindset. So it's never like in the store and I can't afford it. Because the reality is you go make a sale tomorrow. You can always afford it. It's if I did have the money right now, or maybe I do have the money right now, would I even want to put anything into it? The answer is no. The answer is no. Okay, the one I hate is plane tickets. For me, I think plane tickets are a dumb idea. Because I sit on the airplane. We can't even use the airplane for the first 2 hours leaving Alaska. So you can't even get work done. You're sitting there like being a vegetable on the airplane. Then you need a freaking chiropractor when you get done. The entire experience is terrible, right? So you have to figure out your expenses. Now, once you get good at this, probably after about 12 weeks of consistently doing this, you'll be able to turn this into a game. You can take a dumb idea, turn it into a 5. You guys know what I mean?
Yep.
What's an example of that?
Eating by yourself.
Eating by myself. That is a dumb idea. Why do I need to eat by myself? And if I'm going to eat by myself, why am I eating out? That's what my house is for. I'm trying to be by myself. I would just stay home and eat, okay? So Mike's saying eating by yourself is dumb. How do I turn that dumb expense into a 5?
Invite a client or a friend. Anybody.
Invite a client.
Anybody.
Or even this. You go to the restaurant and you try and prospect the waiter. And you leave your business card. Now your pancakes are tax deductible. If it was pancakes.
Ooh, you know it was.
It was pancakes. Mike says it's pancakes, right? Now, that's how you take a 1 and turn it into a 5. Same thing with a 2. I don't need this right now, but I can make it tax deductible. My car was a 2. My Beamer was a 2. I didn't need a Beamer. I already had a Beamer. I was in the middle of a lease, so I really didn't need a Beamer. So it was a borderline 1. But I figured out, if I do this, it's a 5. Tax deductible, and I can promote it and use it to go make money. Now it's a 5. Grant doing the deal with that Colonan that he had at GrowthCon. You guys notice he doesn't have it anymore?
Yep.
The what?
The Colonan, that car that he wrapped and Snoop Dogg was in.
Okay.
He doesn't have that car anymore.
I didn't know
That car initially for him was a 1. Dumb idea. But he turned it into a 5. He'll even tell you it was a dumb idea. He'll say buying a Rolls Royce is dumb, but he's got money to be dumb and he knows how to turn it into a 5. Okay? And I want you guys to realize that this, what we just talked about, this game, being able to take a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4 and turn it into a 5, this is probably the #1 wealth building trait out there next to sales. Okay, if I know how to make money with sales and I know how to make money with my expenses, you can rob me and drop me in the middle of nowhere and I'll go get wealthy again. Because I understand, #1, sales. #2, I understand how to leverage my expenses. I know how to take things that I'm going to do anyways and turn them into income.
Yep.
And it's not even about the expenses, it's about you being able to multi-purpose your actions. You're doing things when you spend the money. So can I take the thing I'm doing and turn it into income generation? And if I can, then I earn the income. And even if I suck at it, it's going to be tax deductible. If I'm Mike and I bomb prospecting the waiter at the pancake restaurant and he's like, yeah, that sounds terrible, I'm never going to do that. Guess what? Mike still gets to write off his pancakes, dude.
As long as I get that no.
As long as Mike gets a no, he can write off his pancakes. Okay? So that's how you run the expenses here. Now the other one that we're going to talk about on financial control, this is Mike's favorite. This is the ditty. You need to you need to reduce your ditty. Mike, your ditty is too large. You need to reduce it. So, ditty, what does the D stand for?
Debt.
Debt. Okay, what is the I?
To the income?
Insurance.
I love those sounds like, oh wait, I get messed up.
What's the T?
Taxes.
Taxes. I pity the fool, Mr. T. What's the other I?
Investments.
Investments. All right, so this is how you also free up money. So guys, I've showed like just in this period, what time is it, hon?
7:52.
7:52. In the last 50 minutes, we just figured out how to make 10 grand selling stuff you own. We just figured out how to probably free up a few $100s a month, maybe even more than that, by just returning crap you didn't need. And then lastly, debt, insurance, taxes, and investments. Okay? If you have debt, you should not be paying more on your debt. That's how you control your finances. You reduce to the minimum payment. You only pay the minimum. Okay, you don't need to do the debt snowball. You don't need to get out of debt early. You need to have solvency. Nano, where does debt come from?
Not having the ability,
Not having money.
to begin with.
Being insolvent. Debt comes from being insolvent. So if you pay off the debt and you don't fix the fact that you're insolvent, what's going to happen?
We go back right to it.
Right back in debt. Okay, you baby step 2ers, you have been there for 5 years. Baby step 2, then back to baby step 3, and then down to 2 again. Baby step 2 up to 3, then back down to 2 again. Because you're insolvent. That's why you end up in debt. So you reduce your debts down to just the minimum payment. You only pay them what they asked for. It's a business agreement. They told you, I just need $35 a month from you. That's all I need. I know you owe me 10 grand. All I want is $35. I'm going to screw you with interest, but all I need is $35. Great. So I'm going to only pay you the $35, and I'm going to screw you by taking all the money that I should pay you to pay off my debt. I'm going to make more money than you can charge me in interest. And we'll see who wins at the end.
Yep.
That's the game. So you reduce the debt. That frees up margin. The margin you spend on financial knowledge and you spend on your ability to increase your income. You don't save the margin for just saving. You save it so that you can go make more money so that you can someday go pay off that debt. Okay? The next one is insurance. Okay? So you cut and you increase deductibles. And you shop. Okay, cut, increase, and shop. You cut ones you don't need. So if you're watching and you have cancer insurance, you get ripped off. You're watching and you have accidental death and dismemberment insurance, you got ripped off. Okay, if you don't need all these random insurances, there's basically 8 that you need. You get rid of the ones you don't need. It's not going to help you. It's not an asset. There's nothing it's going to do for you. I've never had to use my car insurance for a major reason. Then you increase your deductibles. You increase the deductible, you have money saved, and then you finally shop for cheaper quotes, okay? Next one is taxes. Okay, so you're going to change your W-4 and you're going to look for deductions. Okay, you shouldn't get money back at the end of the year, you should owe. You flip it. You pay them instead of them paying you. They've been borrowing your money and paying you nothing. Time to flip it. You borrow their money and pay them nothing. At the end of the year, again, you don't just stick it in a bank, you go use it to make more money. You don't just let it sit there. You use it to increase your knowledge and your income. Okay? So that's going to be taxes. And then last one is investments. If you're insolvent, guys, you should not be giving money to Wall Street. Okay? You need to stop contributing to your 401k. Do not put money in your Roth IRA. Do not put money in your traditional IRA. Don't put it in your TSP. Don't put it in your 403b. Like the thing that you're supposed to put money into for retirement, you should not put money in there. You're insolvent right now. Okay, get rid of that. Chop it off, and all of that excess, that's now free cash flow. Okay, free cash flow is the number one thing you need to build wealth. That is the end product. The reason you sell is to make more than you spend and have free cash flow. Then you go do smart things with the cash flow. The reason you play the 1 to 5 game is to have free cash flow. The reason why you have the free cash flow is you need to have money to invest. Okay? And here's the best way to really put all this into play. Download mint.com if you haven't done this already. It's free. Hook up all your accounts to it, every single one of them, and then you load your transactions. And this is the terrible part. You're going to load them all onto Microsoft Excel. You're going to count back 12 weeks. Then you're going to print all of it. And you're going to go through with a highlighter, and you're going to categorize every single dollar you spent on anything in the last 12 months. Or no, not the last 12 months, 12 weeks, 3 months. Okay, you're going to categorize everything you spent in the last 12 weeks. Was it rent? Was it car payment? Was it groceries? Was it eating out? Was it coffee? And guys, you'll be amazed when you look at what you thought you were spending versus what you are spending. Okay, and you've only got to do this once because it's going to take you freaking 3 hours, and you'll hate it the entire time, and you'll feel like a dumbass because you'll be like, I spent that much on food. I spent that much going to coffee. I spent that much on things that I don't even remember what they are anymore. And the purpose isn't to send you into constriction mode. The purpose is to get you to stop being a dumbass with your expenses. If it's not going to make you money, it doesn't get spent. That's got to be the mindset. So you go through and you do that. Once you get that done, you should be able to get a monthly average on what you spend in each category. Right? So if I had 12 weeks and I tally all the expenses up for every category, and maybe I've got, let's say, 10 categories of things I spend money on, and I've got 12 weeks worth, well, I could divide that now by 12. I know my weekly average. I can then multiply that by 52 weeks, and now I know my annual average. Now if I divide that by 12 months, now I know my monthly average. So now I know in reality, in the last 12 weeks, what did I spend in these categories, and how do I spend per month? Right, and once I've done that, I break it back down into weekly. And I should have this in my wealth creation formula. That's my go-to. My monthlies, that's in my formula. That's my master sheet, right? So I can go into my master sheet and I can see this is what I spend per month on stuff. And then I can actually monitor, right? Well, if I spend $1,000 a month on rent, that means that I should spend $250 a week on rent. And so if I ever see that I'm spending more than $250 a week towards rent and setting aside not enough for rent, that means that I'm not actually on track. So every week when you look at your money, you're looking at what are my 7 days worth of planned expenses? Do I have enough income to set those aside? If I don't, I need to go fill my pipeline. And I'm looking at what did I say I was going to spend in the last 7 days versus what I actually did spend, and did I stay on track? And that's a weekly thing you do. And that's why we use Mint, because Mint automates a lot of that. It'll populate all your transactions for you. And then you go through and you do the 1 to 5 game on every single thing you spent in the last 7 days. If it's not a 4 or a 5, it goes back to the store. Get the income back, you stick it back in your sacred account, and then you go make more sales. Now,
What if you're already thinking like that before you do the purchase to begin with?
you would be surprised still. Like there's times where you'll be like, yeah, I could do this, and then you look at it and you're like, hey, I shouldn't have spent that. So the 12-week thing, that's going to help you really confront it, because sometimes what we think isn't what's in reality. You've got it as is. And the only way you can as is by looking at the data. So you got to look at numbers, and then once you got the numbers down, you have to manage by statistic, and that's the weekly.
No, even if you take a look at the account date.
Yeah, because your account, daily if you're doing it, you're probably looking at your balances and stuff. You could do the 1 to 5 game daily. It would just make it to where you're shorter. You wouldn't have to do it every week. You just do it every day. But if you get good at it, it shouldn't take more than like 5 minutes.
And just by taking a look at it, it's like, it's like, okay, this was 4 or 5, so I know if I'm focusing on something else, right, whatever the case may be, I guess because I'm doing this now for a longer time, like focus now 4 or 5, everything else it's not even consideration. Or if it is, at least I'm aware, and then I can remember, okay, this was not a 4 or a 5.
Yeah, but the thing is, do you actually return it if it's not?
If it was like a consumable, like maybe like, okay, I
Like
spent,
food?
yeah, exactly.
Where there's a will, there's a way, Nano.
So at least for me, this is like the thing that I see. And outside of that,
Yeah.
so
So that's really like, you do want to do this activity because that's the only way to confront it. And then whether you manage it once a week or you manage it every day. Like for me, when I look at my bank balances, I'm really just looking at my account balances to dictate what condition my balance is in. So am I in normal, emergency, affluence? Like those are what I'm looking at. And then weekly, that's where I'm looking at the expenses. And that's where I'm doing the 1 to 5 thing, just because it accumulates enough for me to look at it and make sense of, right, here's a week's worth of expenses. And I actually do sit down, and if it's like a 1, I'm going to get rid of it. And if it was food, like that's different, then I'm like, all right, well, am I going to stop going there, or am I going to turn it into a 5 finally? And that's where I'm like, all right, well, I need to get the owner on board, or I need to prospect while I'm there, or I need to take clients with me. So those are all things that you've got to kind of discover. Because the thing is, if it's food, and I think for most people it is food. Like in my experience, when I do someone's budget, and I'm like, how much do you spend on restaurants? And they're like, oh, only like $100. And then we find like a $600 surplus, and we're like, all right, well, where's that going? And they're like, what? Well, remember when I told you I only spent $100 on food?
That was me.
It's actually 600. And it's like, okay, well, if you don't confront that and either stop doing it or make the decision to go make the food make money, then it's going to always just be this invisible $600 a month shortfall. So you do have to make a conscious decision on, all right, I'm either going to stop, which means that I do actually put some barriers in place and like do some things that are difficult. Maybe it does mean that I try and return the half-eaten burrito. I don't know. Or I realize, all right, I need to make sure that I always have a prospect when I go there. I always have a client when I go there. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I also, I wasn't taking into account. It may differ whenever you put like lease, rent, electricity, and like on the weekly budget. So it is different. It is a little different when it regards to that, because I've already paid attention. It's like I know the metrics for it, to know like giving. But as I continue to expand, that actually needs to be placed, because I'm obviously expanding.
Yeah, and as you get more income, that's where it's like you said, it really becomes critical.
Yes.
And this is what I'll kind of end on. Basically, on a week-to-week basis, And I just do this with a spreadsheet. We have it inside Wealth Dynamics University. You have basically like your different categories, right? You have plans and you have actual. Okay, so if I'm counting out like my weekly expenses, again, 52 weeks in a year, right? So you can't take a monthly expense and divide it by 4. You have to go 52, right? Annual divided by 52. So I planned this much, and I'm going to actually audit what did I actually spend. So if I planned to spend, the $100 on gas, but I actually spent 25, then I need to be looking at, all right, well, do I need to keep the 75 set aside because I'm about to buy some more gas in 3 weeks, or did I misplan that? And at the end of the month, you should sit down and have 4 or 5 weeks worth of this, and tally them up and total what you're actually planning and actuals were for the month, and does that match what your wealth creation formula budget says? And if it doesn't, that's an accounting error. Like if you were in a company like that, you would go out of business because you'd have so many errors on your books. You wouldn't know the difference between what you say you spend and what you actually spend. And it's not even about like spend less money, it's about know where your money goes. Okay, if you don't know where your money goes, you can't have free cash flow. Okay, so that's kind of what you should do. And again, that's an Excel spreadsheet we have inside Wealth Dynamics U. If you guys ever want to use it, it's just called FP1. And I think I've got the formulas built in there too, so that you actually plug it in and it totals the numbers for you. So that's in there. But this is how you control your finances. Okay, and I know for us, like this is a lot of beginner stuff, but the beginner stuff is what wins.
Foundation.
It's the foundation. Like this is the stuff that if you really do it, you will be solvent. If you really do it, you'll have a lot of money. Okay? Credit can't fix this. Borrowing can't fix this. Like you have to actually manage your finances.
It's kind of like you cannot be healthy if you're eating cupcakes five times a week.
Yeah. And you can't just go to liposuction like, oh, I got another loan.
Yeah.
Like that's not how it works. So, and this goes back to what Grant said too. You have to realize like we kind of model after Grant. You guys are Grant and we're Grant when he stopped working at the car dealership and started his business.
Say that again.
So when he talked about the curve thing, right? He's like, you have to realize where they are in the curve. Okay, well, this was, if you're looking at Grant as like the model, you're like, man, I'm gonna be like Grant. Maybe this is Grant here. This is Grant when he was on drugs. Then he's at the dealership. And then he started his business. You guys are like here. Like we're in the middle. We're not up here. We're not buying private jets and driving around in Rolls Royces. And so when you see like that stuff on social media, even from Grant, you have to realize he's in a different spot on the curve than I am.
Yep.
If Grant had an iPhone back here, all you would see is the stuff you see on my social media and your social media and Nano's social media and Lexi's. It's the office. Like for the amount that I promote, I have probably the most boring Instagram story out there. It's a red carpet with Nano behind me. That's all it is, right? It's the same thing every day. So basically you have to realize where am I at in the curve and I need to act the part. Okay, if I'm here, then I'm not taking time off. I'm not rolling big. I'm not dropping money on stuff I can't afford. Like I'm just focused on how do I make money and not spend it. And then make more of it and not spend it. And just keep packing my sacred account away. Okay, and here's the thing I want to hit really quick, guys. So like we're going to start offering like the loan product more often. That's up here. So when we do the loans, that's going to be Div 2 only. Like we will never open up with, hey, I can get you credit. Because that doesn't fix anything for anybody, right? So we're going to give credit to somebody that doesn't need it. We're going to give credit to someone that's already putting money in their sacred account.
Yep.
That's already invested. That's the guy that we want to give a loan to because he knows how to go take that money and turn it into something smart. You give a loan to a broke guy, same reason we don't sell Legal Shield as an entry level. Like what kind of client do you really think you're going to get if the first thing they signed up for was solving a legal problem? You're probably going to be next. Okay, so that's what you got to realize. So when we go through this cycle, knowing where you're at on the cycle is huge. Okay, and it's easy, especially in Anchorage, it's easy by activity to think you're hired because no one else is doing as much. But again, the product isn't the doing this, it's the having this. Do actually have that much to act the part. If I don't, I need to act my size. Okay, and it's not even like a suppressed fly below the radar thing. It's like, I'm 140 pounds. I probably shouldn't go fight the guy that weighs 250. I'm going to stay in my weight class and get really good at that, and then I'll try and level up to the next one, right? So any questions here, guys?
Makes sense.
Cool. Nano?
No, just cognition after cognition.
Awesome. Any comments in there?
I actually wrote it down, where you said that the fact that you cannot do something because of money, it's actually slavery.
New way of thinking about it?
I'm sorry?
New way of thinking about it?
Correct, right? As far as, and that one is not as free as one may think he is, right? So, and there's even a higher level to it. You can be aware that, you know, that shit, I'm gonna say I gotta do something about it, or I'm good. Which,
Yeah.
like, you're a slave and you don't even freaking know it.
Yeah. So guys, that's our course for tonight. Really quick, which one's my phone? Do you want to paste that link? Yeah, so Lexi's going to paste the link. If you're on my Facebook right now and you're watching, we will actually do this for you for free. Okay, I want to make sure you understood what I just said. If you were watching tonight and you saw this, we will help you do this for free. We have a program that I built out called the Wealth Creation Formula where we will run all of your numbers for free.
It's not pasting. What's the?
Go to jerryfetta.com/formula.
There we go.
So jerryfetta.com/formula. If you guys are watching someone post that, but we'll build out your assets, we'll build out your liabilities, your budget, your cash flow, your debt, your insurance, your investments. I just did this with a guy tonight for free, and I took his investments from 1.3 million to over 2.5 million. Just not extra money, just changing how he's doing it. Okay, I reduced his fees on the investments from 250 grand to 19 grand. Okay, so if you're interested in this, I want you to click the link. It's free. We're not going to charge you anything. And here's the thing we're thinking. If you sign up to get a free plan, we think we can solve your problem and that you'll want to do business with us. We'll make an exchange then, but for now, let us prove to you that we can actually help. So if you're watching, click that link. It's a free wealth creation formula. Fill it out, book an appointment. You can schedule it right there on the link. Thank you for watching. Have a great night. We'll talk to y'all soon.